She can now walk, talk, and feed herself.
A lot of people are supporting me. They're everything and every step of the way.
It was inspiring to come in every day and watch her push through some really hard struggles and some really hard challenges.
But Layla's injuries were severe and doctors have more work to do.
She has a right side bone flap. There's a piece of skull that was taken out to allow for swelling, for her brain to swell, for her to survive. They're replacing that with a 3D printed prosthetic bone.
That surgical procedure takes place Thursday.
That's the final step, and then it's home and nothing but improvement from there.
And as Layla works on her full recovery, she says the best recovery will be for her to get back out there racing.
Motocross is my favorite sport because of being in the air.
And you're willing to do that all over again?
Yeah, and hopefully I can race next season.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Well, tonight on The Edge, a woman's decomposed body turns up at a Bloomfield Township home with her husband still inside.
Is this a homicide? Is this not a homicide? Those are some things that we have to wait for the medical examiner. That'll determine whether or not, through our interviews with friends and family, and kind of in a situation like this, we have to dig back.
We lost thousands of jobs. And now all the weed that's being sent into these provision centers in Detroit, they're grown by red counties.
More on the cannabis conundrum, sparking a conversation with Detroit City Council candidates.
It was just epic, honestly. It made my day. It seemed like an inconvenience, but I met him right at the gator, and we caught her.
Didn't take long for these guys to wrangle up that Belle Isle gator. So where is she now? Those stories and more right now.
This is The Edge.
The Edge at 11 starts now.
And you have someone out here that's reckless, that produces a firearm, involved in a dispute, and starts firing a gun. We will not tolerate it.
A fight leads to gunshots at a busy bus stop in downtown Detroit. Now 2 suspects are behind bars. Police say 15 to 20 men got into an argument this afternoon at the Rosa Parks Transit Center. Officers then heard shots ring out and found one man with a gunshot wound to the foot. He's expected to be okay. Police quickly tracked down and arrested 2 suspects. We're told charges are pending.
And what happens when you're asking about your husband?
Zawaza tells me that he's sleeping, and I know there's blood on his vest, and I start screaming.
Okay, and what happens?
Chilling testimony from the wife of a man murdered in the Rochester Hills home. 2 men, Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo, charged with first-degree murder. Back in October of last year, investigators say the men posed as DTE workers, as you see through this ring cam here, claiming there was a gas leak to get into the house. Once inside, they started asking the couple about money. When the men went into the basement, came back upstairs without her husband, Linda Murray got scared. She says one of the men hit her and then robbed her.
What's going on as Defendant Zuazo is upstairs? What's going on with you and Defendant Hernandez?
Hernandez is binding my hands and my ankles together with duct tape. When Zuazos came downstairs, I saw that he was carrying a drawer from my jewelry box.
Okay, and that was without your consent?
Yes.
Was there anything taken from your purse that was without your consent?
Yes.
What was taken from your purse?
$300.
Eventually, Murray says she was able to free herself and call police. Well, 3 people in Grand Blanc still hospitalized tonight following Sunday's horrific church attack.
Yes, and we're told that 2 are in fair condition right now. The other victim is improving. 4 people in all were killed, 8 hurt, and doctors addressing the media today, describing the chaos. On Sunday morning, the 40-year-old gunman slammed his truck into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then began shooting, and then lit the church on fire.
Being the trauma surgeon on call and all of us hoping that everyone lives, it's hard. I think it's really hard to have somebody that is traumatically injured or for any reason die. I think unfortunately we probably have a sense that we're supposed to be able to save everybody, but we can't. And that was probably the reflection difficult thing for me.
The feds working with local law enforcement agencies to try and determine a motive. And then there's this. Bloomfield Township police really making a disturbing discovery. A man allegedly living with his wife's corpse or decomposing body for 2 months.
He's been held on a huge bond tonight, but police still can't determine if she was murdered. Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack is live in Bloomfield Township to fill us in on what we know now. Jessica.
Well, Chief Gallagher out here in Bloomfield Township says that he's been doing this for 25 years, and this is the first of its kind in terms of this type of investigation. We're talking about 53-year-old Dirk Grunwald, a resident here in the township. He's now charged with failing to report a deceased person, and that person is apparently his wife. He's now charged with that felony, being held on a $250,000 cash bond. Now, police say Grunwald was living with his wife's decomposing body for at least 2 months. A tip led police to their Bloomfield Township home last Saturday. They said Grunwald was holed up in their master bedroom surrounded by knives before surrendering to his SWAT team after 2 hours, and he never said anything to police.
He was taken to the hospital for both medical and mental evaluation, but that's a concern that we're investigating right now, is why did we not report this death? Was there anything that could have been done to save this individual's life prior to? So those are all the things that make this a suspicious death, and that's why we're still investigating it. It'll probably take us a little time to work with the medical examiner's office to determine this.
Part of the problem is that the state of decomposition is so advanced that the medical examiner's office is having trouble finding a cause of death, and no charges can be leveled until there is a cause of death. Now, I do understand an anthropologist has been brought in to examine the remains, and it'll go from there, but it could be weeks, if not months, to determine. We will continue to follow this very disturbing story. Reporting live in Bloomfield Township, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Yeah, and Jess, I know we have to be sensitive about how you can answer this question, but what kind of a tip was it? Was it someone who perhaps knew this guy who said, hey, I have a suspicion, or was it a neighbor who perhaps sensed that something had gone terribly wrong?
Well, part of this all goes back to the family dog. They actually had that dog at a kennel, and the dog was never picked up for months at a time. Somehow a neighbor friend got involved with the dog, and then it all kind of unraveled from there. They thought it suspicious enough to report it to police, and thankfully they did.
All right, Jessica Dupnack for us live tonight. Thank you.
Well, candidates for Detroit City Council gathering for a forum tonight at Eastern Market. They discussed a number of issues, including the city's cannabis industry. It comes as the state legislature considers a bill that would impose a 24% wholesale tax on cannabis. Critics fear many cannabis businesses would be forced to close.
We lost thousands of jobs, and now all the weed that is being sent into these provision centers in Detroit, they're grown by red counties.
There's about 92 licensees in Detroit, and they're all small operators like myself. I just hope this doesn't put too many people out of business. People were driving more.
The cannabis industry, or the Detroit Cannabis Industry Association, hosted the event. Election Day, remember, is Tuesday, November 4th.
Well, it's an unusual sight, an alligator on Belle Isle.
Oh boy, yeah. After making a surprise appearance, she now has a new home in Westland. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards is joining us live with more on the gator's new spot, and we hope that maybe, she didn't meet a boyfriend along the way, that maybe there might not be more gators in the world.
Absolutely. And, we're still out here out front of the Great Lakes Serpentarium. I want to still show you again because it's really cool inside. This is one of the enclosures where there's an alligator, a crocodile. You see its head popping out of the water. And over here, there's actually 2 crocodiles in here. There's one, it looks like a statue, but I promise you it is real. And over off into the corner in the back there is a tortoise all the way hunchback there. But let's look at the moment that the alligator over at Belle Isle was spotted. Now, this is cell phone video from a woman paddle boating on Sunday out at Belle Isle. The DNR checked it out and said, yep, it is an American alligator. And so the hunt was on, people stopping by to take pictures and also look for it. Today around noon, 2 guys, Stephen Hart and Troy Katarian, picked her up and put her in a net and then drove her over to Westland to the Great Lakes Serpentarium, which is a reptile zoo out here. And the owners say that they specialize in venomous snakes and have have years of experience dealing with alligators and just knowing so much about them. And they believe this alligator that was out in Belle Isle was dumped, which they say anyone can get fined for.
Not as big as it looked on me. Get alligators and release them into the wild. They don't survive here, and they cannot survive Michigan winters. She's gonna stay with us. We're not planning on getting rid of any of the animals that we have here, and she's gonna continue being an educational ambassador.
And the DNR actually called me when I was on the way over here and congratulated us for catching him. So that was nice.
And again, what's so cool about this story is that those two guys did not know each other prior to catching her, but now they are best friends, and they have the alligator to thank. And the Serpentarium behind me here in Westland, they are going to have a grand opening on the 31st this month, beginning at 1 o'clock. DJ, fanfare, tours inside, and I gotta tell you, you want to definitely see it. Reporting live here in Westland, Lauren Edwards, On the Edge.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Thanks, Lauren. You know, I'm wondering, though, did they ever find out where this alligator may have come from, who may have probably dumped it, but or maybe if he has any friends?
They don't know that specifically, but when we asked, they believe that she was dumped. And they say what tends to happen is that they'll buy these alligators at expos, or it'll be given to them as a gift, and they don't know what to do with them because they're such particular animals. You know, it's not a dog and a cat. And so what tends to happen, they just will dump them anywhere. And they said, do not do that. You will get fined.
Yeah, not a good plan there. All right, well, maybe hopefully people will learn from this. Thanks, Lauren.
A scary sight from the Bronx when part of a building comes tumbling down. How the community is reacting. You're watching The Edge at 11.